Okay, so I'm going to be taking us step by step through doing the table legs. There's a lot of math involved. This is how Revit likes to think. However, I'm going to show you over here the one I made in 3D already, just to give you an idea. So what I did is the simplest way to do this is I used a blend, and I have a small rectangle that's then blending into a larger rectangle that's going to create a tapered leg. This guy's huge because I just did it freehand just so you could kind of visualize it. However, Revit being what it is, it wants us to do this highly specifically math way, which makes sense because we're going to be able to do with this table is as we stretch it, the legs will go with it, or as we make it higher, the legs will go higher. And I want you to kind of see what all goes behind the scenes of creating these families. So especially in the final project, if you need to go and edit or make stuff from scratch, you understand kind of how this all kind of gets glued together and will morph, as you make it bigger or smaller. All right, so you're going to start off here on your reference view. And we first need to basically define the space of where we're going to basically glue the leg to the bottom side of our table. So what we're going to do is here we're under the Create tab, and then we're going to go to the reference plane. And I'm going to draw two lines, basically north-south, make sure they're straight. So I just left click, hit escape, and then I'm going to left click with my mouse and then left click again, hit escape. You roughly kind of put them kind of where I have them. We're going to change the math in a minute. And then you're going to go basically left to right, west, east, again, escape, left to right, west, east, hit escape. All right, so right now, if you look at it, this is where we're going to basically be gluing that leg. So the first step of this is to make sure these squares are all the same size. We can do it a couple ways. So you can annotate so I went to annotate tab, aligned, and I left clicked on this first green reference plane and then the next green reference plane, and I left clicked over here. I'm going to do it for all 4 sides. You'll see how this works. So we're going to left click here, off to the side. That one's a nice 6 inches, just by chance. And then I'm doing this top to bottom right here. And then I'm doing this top to bottom right here. We don't need to do the rest of it right here and right here because it's already defined up above the math of kind of where we're putting things. All right, so you can go around. And so basically, if I were to click on this green line, see how this is called a witness line, these blue dimensions. I can change it to 6 inches right here. Oops, if I click on it right there, 6 inches. And then now see how it's adjusted to the 6 inches. You could work your way all the way around and clean it up that way. That's one way to do it. However, there's a kind of a better sort of technological way to lock all this information together. Sorry. So we're going to use parameters, which are like what we did up here with the length, where we're defining it as a length, and then we can change it later if we want. So this one, we're going to now define as the table width. So what we have to do for that is you click on the dimension, and up here comes this part here where you can label it. This is where we add what's called a parameter. Basically, it's defining, length, width, things like that. So we click on create parameter, and this is going to be leg width. Oops, got to spell it right too. DTH, yes, okay. And we just keep it like that. So that one is now kind of defined by this, and later on, if we wanted to make it 8 inches or 4 inches, this is how we'd adjust it. So we want to be able to do that for the rest of these guys here. So what you do is you hit on down control. So I'm just hitting control on my left mouse to collect them all. Since I've already defined this leg width, given it a parameter, I can go up here to where they're listed, left click here, and the drop down menu are the parameters I've all created. So one right here is leg width, click on that, and everybody's now jumped to be 6 inches. So that's a nice way to clean it up. So all right, I'm going to pause now. And then we're going to come back and then define all the tiny little bits inside to make that taper.